Alright, this is John Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, we're going to do one of my famous juice-off comparisons. This is just one of hundreds of different juice-off comparisons I have on this channel. And let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is John Kohler, and I started the company Discount Juicers 25 years ago now to get you guys the best deal on juicers. And besides just getting you the best price, I go above and beyond because from the beginning, I compare the different juicers by an old school comparison chart. But nowadays we have YouTube, so I get to pit juicers head to head against each other. I get to share with you guys my expert knowledge and opinions about the juicers, where I compare each machine part by part, and then of course at the end of these episodes I will juice even amounts of produce in each juicer so that you guys can determine which one would be best for you. That being said, my company is called Discount Juicers, and I'm always here to make sure you guys get the lowest price on the juicers. So if you guys want to buy any of these two juicers, you can buy them direct at Kuvings USA and use the coupon code DJ10. My special link is down below to take you right to the shopping cart to automatically apply the DJ10 to your shopping cart so you guys could save $70 off either of these two machines for a limited time only. So make sure you click the link down below, use that coupon code. You guys will not only save 10%, but when you guys do that, I want to say thank you because Kuvings will pay me a small commission so I can continue to make these educational videos for you guys and show you guys the truth about juicers. You know, I have tested all the major brand juicers on my channel. Today I'm doing Kuvings against Kuvings, but I've tested Kuvings against Nama, Kuvings against all the different other brands on the market. Links down below to some of the videos on that, so be sure to look those up if you're considering another brand as well. So with that, let's go ahead and compare these two machines. So the first thing I'll say is that this is the Kuvings REVO830. This was Kuvings' best-selling model in all of 2023. It literally flew off the shelves and was selling so fast until the Kuvings Auto10 came out near the end of the year. Then Kuvings basically sold out of these, and they had projected they'd still going to sell a lot of Revos and not sell as many Auto10s, so they had to play catch up and get some more Auto10s in stock. I'm glad to say that the Auto10 now is in stock, and there's plenty of stock. So should you want to get a juicer right now before the new year to get on your weight loss and health journey in the new year, now is the time to buy. In my opinion, this is the next revolution in juicers. Instead of you sitting and pushing each item into the machine and dropping each item in, this machine has an automatic hopper that you load up completely, you shut the lid, and you can literally walk away and let the juicer do all the work without you. So, I mean, this is revolutionary, game-changing technology that makes it a lot easier to juice because nobody wants to sit and spend time over their juicer, pushing items in, dropping each item in, when you could have basically the equivalent quality and quantity juice in the new style machine. Now, the other thing I will say is that both machines are priced the same, and of course, both these are made in South Korea in the same exact factory, in the Kuvings factory that I visited many years ago. And the other thing to remember about these high-end juicers, right, they're not for everybody, is that these machines have a full 15-year warranty. That means should any part break, motor, parts, or anything break within the next 15 years, Kuvings will replace it at no cost to you if the damage was caused due to no fault of your own. So, you know, imagine if your iPhone had a 15-year warranty, or some other household appliances had a 15-year warranty. I know we all have had that Samsung fridge that is broken on us because the dual air cooling thing goes out after a couple years. But, you know, with juicers, it is a solid investment because it's the best investment you guys could make in your health. Because not only are they guaranteed for 15 years, that means for the next 15 years, you will be allowed to maximize your consumption of especially the vegetables and leafy greens by juicing them quickly and easily and getting them into you. Your health is priceless. I learned this at a young age when I almost lost my life due to failing health, and I had to turn my health around, and juicing is a big part of my health journey and health program even until today. Now, the other thing I will say about these machines is that the parts are not interchangeable. If you got the REVO830 recently, you can't take these parts and put them on here, and these parts will not fit on there. Kuvings has not made these forwards or backwards compatible. That being said, I believe they do have to have a similar motor, 240 watts, and it has a 45-minute runtime, which is longer than the runtime on most other machines. Now, the other thing is that the REVO was revolutionary when it came out, you know, over a year ago now, because it has dual feeding chutes. It has a small feed chute for the celery and carrots so that you did not have to pre-cut your celery and carrots before you put them into the machine, because that's a big problem with most vertical juicers, that the celery or the carrots might clog and or stop the machine due to excessive torque load needed to crunch up fat carrots. Not so with the REVO830. In addition, the REVO830 has the largest feed chute on the market of any Korean juicer at this time. It's 3.5 inches wide. So this makes loading items in the machine a lot easier than on other style machines. Now, of course, that all changed when the hopper style juicers came out, because the hopper style juicers, there is a feed chute. You could drop things in there one at a time, but you shouldn't do that really. You want to open up this little lid here, and look at this lid. Like, this machine has even a larger feed chute tube, because this is 6.5 inches instead of 3.5. So this is a full 3 inches wider. So you could put big giant fruits, little miniature watermelons or whatever in here without pre-cutting. And then there's a processing blade down in there, and the processing blade will pre-cut the items for you before it goes into the juicer auger and it's juiced up the rest of the way. You know, honestly, I really prefer the hopper style machines. I've been juicing now for 28 years, and the hopper style machines are revolutionary. For that reason alone, I would recommend actually you guys get the Auto10, because it is an evolution in juicing that makes juicing easier for you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and compare these machines head to head. The first thing I will say is that at present time, the REVO830 comes in 3 different colors, and the Auto10 only comes in 2 different colors. So if you want the, color options, you're gonna have to go with the REVO, but to me, I'm more about function than the color. Hey, how does this thing work? So let's dive right in and compare each of these machines part by part. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take the juicer parts off each of the machines so you guys can clearly see them. To take apart the hopper on the Auto10, you have to press this button down right here. So as you press it down, you just turn it and it'll turn off. And this hopper is basically 2 pieces. You have the lid right here, which is 1 piece, and you have the main hopper body assembly. This is the largest hopper on the market. It's about 100 ounces or 3 liters. So that holds a lot of produce in there at one time. Based on my testing, you could make about 1 quart to 1.5 quarts, depending on what you fill it with. If you fill it to the brim, you could turn the machine on and walk away. You could have 1 quart or 1.5 quarts of juice done without you having to do anything else. So I really believe that is the amazing feat of the Auto10. Over on the Kuvings REVO830, it has a traditional style feed chute. It's 1 part with a smaller feed chute for the celery and the carrots. And then you have the flip gate, which I've never really liked too much, where you could put in whole apples and whole tomatoes and whole bell peppers, whatnot, whole lemons in there to juice. And the produce basically just funnels down into the main top of the auger part, and it gets crunched up and squeezed at that point. Whereas this one has a processing blade, right, that basically spins around. It pre-cuts, and then it feeds the produce items into the machine for you so that you guys don't have to. Also, this machine has been optimized so that it will not basically put produce in the machine faster than it needs to. Whereas on this machine, if you start cramming things in there as fast as you can because you're in a hurry, right, you could overload this machine. You could cause jams, clogs, and other problems. So that's really where I believe the hopper style machines have a 1-up on the manual feed chute. The manual feed chute machines rely on the customer, the user, to feed things at a slow and moderate pace. And in our fast-paced society, people tend to get to do it as fast as they want, not as fast as would be good for the juicer. So yeah, so obviously on the cleaning of these parts, You know, there's a lot more surface area on the hopper piece, although I've never really liked cleaning inside the flip gate because you got to kind of wash in from down below and then kind of wash in from above, and there's some areas that are really hard to get to in the flip gate area. All right, next up we got the augers coming out. Here's the auger on the REVO830, and here is the auger on the Auto10. As you guys can see, they're a lot different. The Auto10 auger is basically, you know, a big auger at the bottom. It's designed to crush and squeeze produce in the bottom half, and the top part of the auger is meant to basically chop carrots and celery into smaller pieces. It's a lot heavier. There's a nice big open space in the bottom that makes it easier to clean, whereas this auger is a lot smaller. It does the same thing. Basically, the produce comes down and gets ground up into smaller pieces. This one has gears on the bottom, which runs the automatic wiping blade, whereas there are no gears on the bottom of this auger. The gears are on the underside of the juicing bowl on that machine, and then on the bottom of this auger, there's a little bit more tighter tolerances and space to kind of get in there to clean. So on some levels, there's more surface area for the Auto10 to clean because it's a lot larger, but it's going to be easier on the bottom, whereas things could get trapped in here and it's a bit harder to access because there's you know, tighter spaces. All right, so coming out next, we got the main juicing screen and the wiping blade on the Auto10, and here is the REVO830. I kind of like the cool color of the Auto10. It's kind of like more black, looks sleek, instead of this more like a yellowish color. Let's go ahead and pull off the wiping blade on both machines. There's a wiping blade on the Auto10, and here's the wiping blade on the REVO830. These machines pretty much have the same and similar task to wipe down the screen as the juicer is juicing. It acts like a windshield wiper on your car when it's raining to kind of keep the screen a little bit more clear and swish the juice out. On the REVO830, there are basically 3 sides that you'll have to clean and 3 silicone gaskets, whereas on the Auto10, they've reduced this to 2, and 2 sides are basically just kind of fake sides. They're just plastic alone. So I guess for that reason, I'd say the Auto10 piece is a little bit easier to clean. The other thing I'll say is that these are pretty much the same kind of construction. They do flex a little bit when you give some pressure to them. Of course, they have the gearing and the teeth on the bottom. And then next up, let's go ahead and compare these juicing screens. So, you know, Kuvings has gone with their traditional style juicing screen, you know, for several models now with a closed bottom. This is the first machine they've done in a while with an open bottom. There are pros and cons to the open or closed bottom. The closed bottom is kind of nice because all the pulp will stay in here and your juicing bowl will stay cleaner. I'm not sure why they went with the open bottom on the new Auto10, but what I will say is that they've actually redesigned the juicing screen. So it looks like the juicing screen holes on the REVO830 are a lot smaller than on the Auto10. On the Auto10, they're a little bit larger. Also, the design of the screen has changed a little bit from their design that they've used over the years. It looks like the screen on the Auto10 on the first stage is maybe a little bit you know, a little bit less, so there's less screen area than the REVO830, but on the Auto10 there's more screen area on the second stage juicing than the REVO830. The other thing I will say is because they've changed the design, this screen is a little bit easier to clean. You could access it from the bottom. In addition, I've never really liked that this bottom row screen is kind of like hard to clean on the inside. So they've improved this on the Auto10 model. In addition, I've been told by Kuvings that the screen on the Auto10 will not get carrot pulp as clogged or jammed into the screen as the screen on the REVO830. So we'll be putting that to the test in a little bit to show you guys if that's true or not. So between these 2 screens, honestly, I kind of like the Auto10 screen. The other thing I will say is that on the bottom of both screens, there's a little hole where the pulp comes out, and the hole on the REVO830 is a bit larger than the hole on the Auto10. This may impact clogging and jamming when you are juicing. And then finally, we will compare the 2 juicing bowls on both machines. one is definitely heavier than the other. The REVO830 juicing bowl is a lot heavier. There's some gears in here that turn the wiping blade. This one's a lot lighter, and they've done a few different things differently. So on the REVO830, they have like the built-in safety switch kind of going up the side, whereas this one, it's you know, external on the outside, and this is kind of like on the inside. So I definitely like the Auto10 on that front. Where the juice comes out, as you guys can see, the spouts, they're pretty much similar. They have a similar style open enclosure. This thing attaches onto the spout, unlike other machines that are, you know, built in. This is a separate part that can be removed. And then let's see here. Both machines have a little spinning gear that runs the wiping blade on both the machines. And then if we look at the Kuvings REVO830, the nice thing about this is that this is where the pulp comes out, and there's no pulp flap, which is a pro and a con. The pulp flap generally keeps the produce in the machine a little bit longer, so it gets wrung out more and will get you better juice extraction. The other thing is you'll see where the pulp comes out, you know, this is a nice large area and it is fixed. You cannot remove it, so it can be difficult to basically get stuck pulp out of the machine if it does get stuck, like if you don't pre-cut your celery enough. Whereas on the Auto10, this is the new design, so you can just basically flip this latch down. This opens up now, so you could clean in here and easily clean out all the stuck pulp. In addition, they now have a rubber flap that basically puts back pressure on the pulp to allow it to stay inside the juicer until it gets drier before it comes out. I'm not really a big fan of the orange gasket here. I think it should be black. But, you know, Kuvings decided to make it orange, maybe so that you could see it and make sure it's in place before you start juicing each time. If you guys want to learn more about the Auto10 or REVO830, be sure to check my links down below. I've done full unboxing videos where I go into even more detail about these two machines. And then finally, we have the motor bases on both machines. These are not interchangeable. I believe them to be about the equivalent motor on both machines. So with that, let's go ahead and assemble each of the machines. I like that both these machines can be assembled on top of the base. First, let's go ahead and assemble the REVO830. First, you're going to go ahead and drop the bowl on. You're going to go ahead and then take the juicing screen and the wiping blade, shove those together. And you're going to line up the red dot here with the red dot on top of the juicing bowl. Drop it in place. It's going to drop down. You can then take your auger, spin it in there, make sure it's dropped all the way down. We're going to take the feed chute top. There's a little white dot here that you want to line up with the red dot here. It drops into place. Then you can spin it over to the lock position. And when it's properly assembled, you can turn it on and the machine will come on. This machine runs at 50 revolutions per minute. Next, let's go ahead and assemble the Auto10. The Auto10, of course, the first thing is to snap this up in place. You can go ahead and put the bowl in place. Once again, you're going to go ahead and take the juicing screen and the wiping blade, shove those together, and you're going to line up the red dot here with the red dot here. This piece will drop into place. Next, we're going to go ahead and take the auger, drop the auger in place, and finally take the feed chute. And the feed chute, this part of the feed chute needs to line up with the back part. So you're going to line up the little arrow here with the arrow over here, and then turn the arrow and it'll lock in place. And when you've assembled the Auto10 correctly, it will turn on. So the other thing I want to say is that both these machines come with similar accessories included. All right, comes with like 3 different cleaning brushes, instruction manual, recipe book, all the common things, a pusher. And I want to go over some of the other accessories it comes with that are not included with other machines on the market that are similar. All right, so both these machines come with a sorbet screen to make frozen fruit sorbets. You guys can see they look similar, but of course this one is closed on the bottom, this one is open on the bottom. Both these machines also come with a smoothie screen, and this is a true smoothie screen, unlike the smoothie screen on some machines, because these smoothie screens do not allow the pulp to come out of the machine. The pulp either comes out of the holes or it remains inside the machine. They basically cap on the bottom of these. Of course, this side is closed for the REVO830, and this one is open for the Auto10. Now, the other thing that it's included with both machines is the screen cleaning tool, and this can save you guys lots of time. So this is the old school screen cleaning tool that has come with many Kuvings juicers over the years. How it works is you take this screen cleaning tool, you put it on the screen, and then you could basically rotate it. As you rotate it, the brushes brush the outside of the screen only. That's very important. It only brushes the outside, not the inside of the screen. So this is the original screen cleaning tool. Only cleans the outside, plus it's pretty large. So this is the new screen cleaning tool that only comes with the Auto10. This tool, the brushes clean the inside of the juicing screen, and the little scraper blades clean out the outside. Let me show you guys how easy this one is to use. You basically put the screen in here like this. This kind of goes down in the middle. You guys can see as I turn this around, you could hear it. It's basically the inside brushes are brushing the inside of the juicing screen. You then take this piece, you snap it down, and then there's a little piece that you just must turn in and lock in place. And now you could go around the screen. You could hear it. The brush is brushing the inside of the screen. You probably guys can't see that. You could hear it. And then you see the outside, the razor blades scrape down the outside of the screen to get it cleaner. So, you know, if you're concerned about cleaning, the Auto10 accessories make cleaning a little bit easier with the new innovative screen cleaning tool. Plus, of course, I like the fact that these screens are open on the bottom, so you could put in the brush from the bottom side or the top side to clean it, whereas on the REVO830 and preceding models, you got to put the brush in from the top to clean it, because you can't put anything in from the bottom because there's a solid plate on the bottom. Now, of course, both these machines have an optional citrus attachment that'll work on either of the two motor bases. When you guys order the citrus attachment, you got to specify the machine you're buying it for, because the attachment is a little bit different depending on the exact model. So I do like that they have this available. If you just want to make, you know, citrus the old school way, just by cutting the orange in half, putting it on, and having the reamer style. That being said, I encourage you guys to juice orange with the white pith, which you can do as the machine comes, to even get a greater level of nutrition and even a more mild tasting juice with less acidity. All right, next up, we're gonna go ahead and do a decibel test to see which one of these two machines is louder. So first, the REVO830. The REVO830 is peaking out at 62 decibels, which is actually quite quiet. And let's check the Auto10. Auto10, when running, is peaking out at 69 decibels. So the Auto10 is a bit more loud than the REVO830. That being said, 7 decibels is not a lot, because these machines are still way quieter than one of the high-speed machines. Both these machines, of course, run at 50 revolutions per minute, whereas high-speed machines could run in excess of 10,000 or even 20,000 revolutions per minute, and they are significantly louder. Both these machines are classified as cold press slow juicers. So I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and do our first juice comparison, and we're going to juice apples in both machines. So first, let's go ahead and do a weigh-in. So as you guys can see, we got 1070.9 and we got 1070.9 on both scales. So yes, we in fact have a fair fight. So let's get juicing. All right, so now we're all ready and set up to juice. So I think I'll be juicing in the REVO830 first. Now, another thing I forgot to mention earlier is that the REVO830 has a fixed plug, whereas the Auto10 has a removable plug. So this makes it a little bit easier to move and put away when you're done. I actually just leave the standard plug like in my kitchen, always plugged in, ready to go. So I really love the Auto10 has the removable plug. I think I'll be juicing first in the REVO830. So to do that, we're just going to go ahead and hit the start on the stopwatch. And I'm just going to go ahead and dump in each apple in the machine until it's finished. Now the thing to remember is that on the REVO830, it's up to you to put in each apple in the machine one at a time and not go too quickly and load it up too fast. So I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and speed this part of the video up for you guys to save you guys some time. Last apple going into the REVO830. As you guys can see, it's worked fairly well. The pulp's coming out, the juice is coming out. We're currently at a little bit over 1 minute. It's quite impressive. So the most important thing is when you put the last apple in, you're gonna have to wait a little bit more time for the machine to catch up and get everything juiced. So we're gonna go ahead and let the machine run just a little bit until the juice stops dripping out and the pulp stops moving out of the machine. All right, so I think it's about done. We're gonna go ahead and hit the stop button here. Took 2 minutes and 22 seconds to juice all the apples in the Kuvings REVO830. Let's go ahead and reset it. So next we're gonna juice in the Auto10, a little bit different for this machine. We're gonna open up the hopper, load in all the apples or as many as we could fit in the hopper, shut the lid, and then we could actually walk away and let the machine do all the work without me having to put each apple in. This is gonna save you guys time because the time the machine's juicing, you don't have to feed it in. You could be doing other things in your house. You know, you could be taking care of your baby, you could, you know, be taking out your compost, you could text some friends or whatever. That's really the key to the Auto10 is that it's gonna save you guys time so you don't have to drop each item in one after the other. So let's go ahead and start this off. All right, let's go ahead and load up this hopper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We threw 12 apples into the hopper in the Auto10. Turn the juicer on. Don't load up too many apples. I think we got to fit 11. I think we'll load up the last one in there. And now we're gonna let the machine juice while I literally walk away. So as you guys can see, the Auto10 is just about done. It's basically emptied out. So we're gonna go ahead and hit stop. Looks like it took about 1 extra minute to juice in the Auto10. But the main thing about the Auto10 is that I didn't have to sit there and babysit the juicer. The juicer did all the work without me. And if you guys look in the hopper of the Auto10, I always like to tip the machine up to get any last bits of juice out. And we look in the hopper when we did the whole apples, there's not a lot of residue in the hopper of the Auto10. So, you know, it funneled all the apples in. Meanwhile, if we show you guys the top set of the REVO830, you guys can see in the REVO830, there's a lot of bits of apples that just didn't get put into the juicer to even get juice, to get extracted. This is something about the REVO830 design that I have not really ever liked. It may leave more pulp residue that doesn't even get into the juicer to get juiced. That being said, depending on what you're juicing in the Auto10, if you're juicing like leaves, you'll have a lot more things sticking in the main hopper than other style machines that have an automatic hopper that I've tested. So I guess what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and check out how much pulp was put in to each of these juices. All right, so the Auto10, the pulp and froth in the sieve, basically 20.2 grams. Let's go ahead and tear that out again. And on the REVO830, 20.2 versus 29.1. So the REVO830 put about an additional 10 grams or 50% more pulp into the juice, you know, if you did not use a sieve. Next, let's go ahead and compare the yields on each of the juicers. All right, let's go ahead and do a close-up on each of the juices. First, the Auto10. As you guys can see on the Auto10, looks like we made straight up 700 milliliters of juice. Solid amount. And over on the REVO830, looks like we made under 700 milliliters of juice. I'm gonna estimate that to be 680 milliliters of juice. So definitely a tight race. But you guys could clearly see the Auto10 was the supreme winner. So as you guys just saw, the Kuvings Auto10 yielded more than the original REVO830. That being said, the Auto10 did take about a minute longer to juice, although once I loaded it up, I could walk away. And also because I overloaded it, put 12 apples in the beginning, tried to shut the lid was basically bending up. So Kuvings should make the lid a little bit more rigid. So that it wasn't engaging the safety switch until I took one out, which did waste a little time. But nonetheless, the point is that you could load up everything in the Auto10, shut the lid, and walk away, so that even if the machine is taking longer, it's not impacting you or your time. You know, you could be doing something else. whereas on the REVO 830 you have to put each apple in. It made less juice. There's more residue in the top of the machine as well. It also put in 50% more pulp into the juice. The other thing I will say is that both these machines turn the apple juice when it initially came out was nice and bright yellow, but as the polyphenol oxidase reacted to the air, it turned the juice brown. If you guys want to prevent this, put about a half a lemon in the juicer before you start juicing. The citric acid will help, and the acidity will help slow down the polyphenol oxidase from turning your juice as brown as quickly. So I think next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and taste test the juice to see if I can taste any significant difference between them. First, I'll be testing the REVO 830 juice. That's a good apple juice. I'm not tasting any particulate in there because I did use a fine sieve. I mean, that's solid. Reminds me of that apple juice I'd get as a kid. Next up, Auto10. Go ahead and taste test this. I mean, here's the thing, guys. I cannot discern a difference. Both these machines run at 50 revolutions per minute. Both these were designed by Kuvings to pretty much do the same exact job. That being said, I'll say the Auto10 maybe is that much more efficient when juicing apples and does put less pulp in the juice. All right. So next up, let's go ahead and juice some carrots. So as you guys can see, we've got the juicer set up, ready to juice, and we got both scales at the 1,300 grams on both scales right there. So we have a fair fight, juicing organic carrots today. So let's go ahead and get juicing. All right, first up, we're going to be juicing in the Kuvings Auto10 this time, and on the carrots, you could drop one in at a time. I don't recommend that. You guys got the hopper. So what you should do is if you pre-cut the carrots into small pieces, the smaller the pieces, the more carrots you could fit in there. That being said, for ease of use, I'm just going to go ahead and break the carrots into a few pieces to try to fill it up as much as I can. And of course, I could start the timer after I filled up the hopper, but to be fair, we're going to go ahead and see how much time it takes for me to fill up the hopper. And then as the machine is running, then I could walk away. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go ahead and speed this part of the video up for you guys to save you guys some time. Alright, so it looks like the Auto10 is just finished. Now it did take about 7 minutes to juice in the Auto10. 7:07 is when I stopped it. Pretty much the hopper is empty. We're going to go ahead and turn the machine off. Always like to tip the machine up to get any last bits of juice out. So, so here's the thing. I've noticed that the hopper style machines may take longer to juice, right? Because it's a slow juicer. It's doing it at a slow and moderate pace, right? But it only took me maybe, 30, 45 seconds to load it up, shut the lid, and the remaining 6 minutes or so, right? I'm not doing anything to make my juice. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and get juicing with the REVO 830, and you'll see all the work I'll need to do to make the juice. So let's go ahead and juice in the REVO 830 with a specifically designed chute for carrots and celery. Today I'm juicing the carrots. So let's go ahead and hit the start button, turn the machine on, and we're gonna drop one carrot in at a time. This is definitely a slow process because it takes a little chunk of the carrot off at one time to get the juice to come out. So in order to save you guys some time, we're going to let the machine work on every carrot, and we're going to speed this up for you guys. Alright, last carrot going into the Kuvings REVO 830 right now. As you guys can see, it's definitely taking some time for the juicer to chunk off each piece of carrot. Once again, even after you put the last carrot in, you want to let the machine run a little bit more to get all the produce in the machine, run through the machine. You want to make sure and look for when the pulp stops coming out of the machine, as well as the juice stops dripping out of the machine as well. So we're going to go ahead and let this run maybe another 30 seconds to make sure we get all the juice out. All right, I think we got all the juice out. Let's go ahead and hit the stop button. So as you guys can see, it took 4 minutes and 34 seconds as compared to, a little bit over 7 minutes to juice in the Auto10. Now, what is the difference? Well, the difference is for the first minute, I loaded the Auto10 hopper, broke the carrots in half. If you got baby carrots, you could just dump the baby carrots in there without doing nothing. Shut the lid and you walk away. So for literally 6 minutes of the 7 minutes that it took juicing, I was not involved. I was just somewhere else. I was actually cleaning some of the dishes up to make my work when I'm done juicing a little bit easier. Meanwhile, over on the Kuvings REVO830, for about 4 minutes solid, I was just putting carrot in, waiting for it to chunk down before I could put the next carrot in, right? Surely you guys have better things to do with your time than to drop each carrot in to the machine. Anyways, I'm not a big fan of the manual feed juicers anymore since the auto feed juicers came out with the hopper. Next up, let's go ahead and compare how much pulp was put into each of the juices. All right, so I could show you guys this, but to you, it probably looks about the same because the patty is about the same size, but I could feel the weight. The weight on the REVO830 weighs more. So let's go ahead and get the scale out and see how much more pulp it put into the juice. All right, got the scale teared out. Next up, this is the REVO830 pulp. 38.2 grams of pulp in the REVO830. Next, let's go ahead and weigh out the Auto10. So 38.2 compared to 35.9. So yes, it put a little less pulp into the juice with the Auto10. Next up, let's go ahead and compare the yield. Go ahead and compare yield on the juices. Over on the REVO830 side, if we look very closely, you guys can see we got pretty much about a little bit over 550 milliliters. And let's go ahead and transition over to the Auto10. Looking very closely on the Auto10, if you guys could see that. Let's see if we get a good shot. Focus. Looks like we got a little bit under 550 milliliters of juice. Very interesting. Almost made the same amount of juice. In this case, the REVO830 made a tad bit more. All right, so you guys just learned that the REVO830 made a tad bit more. I mean, I would call that an insignificant amount. Next up, let's go ahead and taste test the juices. First up, we're gonna taste test the Auto10 pure carrot juice. That's a good carrot juice. I'm not tasting any particulate. I will say that both these machines don't come with an additional sieve. If you guys want to get a sieve, want to get these same collection bowls, I use glass that I use, link down below to my Amazon shop where I have all my favorite different kitchen tools and products that I use in my very home. Let's see, next up, try the REVO830 juice. To your health. I mean, here's the thing, guys. There's no discernible difference between these. Kuvings have manufactured both these machines. They work pretty much the same exact way. The yields are almost identical. In some cases, the Revo might make a bit more. In other cases, the Auto10 would make more. I'd like to think that the Auto10 is the improvement over the REVO830. So in general, it's probably going to make a little bit more, but in this case, it made a tad bit less. Nonetheless, the juice quality is the same. So last thing I want to do is I want to share with you guys actually the juicer parts and what you'll need to clean and what the juicer parts look like inside the machine. So first up, we'll show you the Auto10. So on apples, the Auto10 hopper was pretty clean. So meanwhile, when we did carrots, you guys could see there's definitely some residue in there. So maybe this residue that's in there that didn't go in could account for the small difference in yield because there was some residue still left in the juicer. Next up, we got the auger coming out. So you guys can see not a lot of pulp on the auger. There's a little bit on the top. Other thing I want to point out, there's like a sheen, like a turquoise kind of sheen on the auger. That's the black plastic, reacting to the orange beta carotene. It makes like a turquoise color. This is completely normal. If you take soap and water and brush it off when you're done, that coloring that's kind of on the outside of the auger will just come off and you won't see it anymore. Next up, I want to show you guys this juicing screen. So as you guys can see, that juicing screen, there's not a lot of ground in pulp on the juicing screen. Meanwhile, on the inside of the juicing screen, it looks like there is some pulp left inside the juicing screen. And finally, inside the bowl, well, the bowl is fairly clean, a little bit of pulp in the middle of the bowl. Next up, let's go ahead and check out the REVO830. REVO830 inside the main hopper feed chute. Actually, this time there is less particulate in here. than when we did apples. So on carrots, there's less particulate in this top feed chute, whereas on the Auto 10 on carrots there's more, but on apples there's more here, maybe because of stickiness. Sticks, it's quite interesting. Next up, the auger on the REVO830 coming out. You guys can see once again, it's fairly clean. There's probably maybe a tad bit less pulp than on the Auto 10 auger. Then as to the juicing screen, you guys can see the juicing screen probably has a little bit less pulp inside the juicing screen than the Auto 10. But if you guys notice on the REVO830, there's more ground in pulp, especially on the bottom layer. This is like literally you're gonna have to scrape this out because it's like ground in, it's clogged. Whereas this kind of comes out a little bit easier on the Auto 10. Finally, on the REVO830, the juicing bowl is pretty much empty. That being said, on the REVO830, you'll have to kind of get your pinky in here and get all the pulp out of that area. Whereas on the Auto 10, you could basically just latch this latch down and you could easily access all the pulp. So that's pretty much it for this comparison. What did you guys think, right? I mean, really, you can't go wrong with either of these two machines, backed up by Kuvings. They've been making appliances in South Korea for over 40 years now. Both these machines have a full 15-year warranty. Both these machines are made in South Korea. That being said, my summary of this episode is this. If it was me and I was buying one of these two machines, which one would I buy? Clearly, I would buy the Auto 10 machine. Although the juicing time was longer, the yield could be a little bit more or maybe a tad bit less. It saves me a lot of time juicing. In addition, the new innovative cleaning tool makes cleaning the juicing screen a little bit easier, as well as there's not as much ground in pulp in the juicing screen either. In general, the Auto 10 will also put less pulp in your juice, something that I personally like. Of course, both these machines have a 45-minute run time on the motor. And in the end, the choice is up to you, really, whichever one you guys think you would like more. Would you like to sit there and pop each item in to the machine? The other thing I didn't cover is that, you know, because you are putting items into the machine, you may feed it too quickly, it may clog or jam, and you may have problems. Whereas on the Auto 10, you load it up, you shut the lid, you walk away. It does take longer to juice, but the benefit of that is that the machine shouldn't really clog because the machine is processing it, pre-cutting it before it feeds it in. It's going to be a little bit slower, but it's guaranteed to work with less hassles and without you having to babysit the juicer and feed produce in the machine. So at the end of this episode, I would say, buy the Auto 10. I'm going to declare the Auto 10 the winner of this juice off. Not only did it put less pulp in the juice, not only is it the latest machine, it also has that innovative cleaning tool and will literally save you guys time when juicing. Of course, these machines are both the same cost, and you guys can save 10% off by using the coupon code DJ10. Throw it up right there at kuvingsusa.com. Link down below in the description to save the 10%. And then also, when you use that coupon code, Kuvings will share me a small commission so I can continue to make these educational videos and go deeper, with my reviews and share with you guys things that you're not going to hear on other YouTube channels. So I appreciate you guys a lot who will use that coupon code to help you guys get the lowest price, but also help me out at the same time at no cost to you and actually saving you guys some money at the same time. I would love to know what you think, right? Maybe you already own the REVO830 and you're going to say, oh, the Auto 10, I mean, it might save some time, but I already got the REVO830, I'm not going to upgrade. Well, yeah, if you guys already have the REVO830, I wouldn't go out of your way to buy the brand new Auto 10 because, I mean, basically the yield, the juice quality is going to be about the same. Maybe it's a bit more work, but unless you got money burning a hole in your pocket, man, keep your REVO830. But for those of you guys that are new, right, get the latest and greatest, right? The industry is going towards hopper-based machines. I don't want you guys to get left out. So get your Kuvings today. And if you guys want to consider other hopper-style machines, links down below to some of my videos where I've compared the Kuvings Auto 10 to other style hopper machines on the market. So you guys can truly find the best machine for you because that is why I make these videos. And leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think about this demo. Did you like the Auto 10? Did you think the REVO830 was better? I truly would like to know what you think. I mean, I prefer the Auto 10, but maybe some of you guys might like to manually feed your juicer because you find it a meditative practice. I've met people like that in the past before. that being said, I got so many things to do. I'm glad I could load up the hopper, shut the lid, and walk away. So if you guys enjoyed this episode comparing the REVO830 to the Kuvings Auto10, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. More importantly, share this with other juice enthusiasts and people that love the Kuvings brand so that they can decide which machine is best for them. Also, be sure to click the subscribe button right down below so you don't miss my new and upcoming episodes that come out every 5 to 7 days. You never know what new juicers I'll be comparing or other appliances that will allow you to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables and other plant foods in your diet the best way possible. Make sure you click the little bells to get notified as many videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. Past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 700 episodes at this time comparing juicers side to side and doing unboxing, sharing my knowledge, and going deeper with the juicers than anybody else in the world. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors.